Currently, Russia is at war with Ukraine, and it has been confirmed that they are building a large-scale military base right along NATO's border. They are constructing this military base near the borders with Norway and Finland. Today, let's take a closer look at this situation. Let's take a look right away. Currently, Western governments, intelligence agencies, and military authorities are continuously issuing warnings. They have warned that Russia is showing large-scale military activity at 4 locations near the borders with Norway and Finland. It has been confirmed that a large military base is being constructed in the Pechenka region, which is only about 10 kilometers away from the Norwegian border. A large military base is also being built in Kirillovskoye near the Finnish border. In Petrozavodsk, 3 large hangars that each hold 50 armored vehicles have been completed, with a 4th under construction. The Kandalaksha base on the White Sea coast is also being completely renovated. Evidence of logging and demolition in the area has alarmed Western intelligence agencies. The Russian military is now constructing completely new infrastructure, not just maintaining or repairing. The number of troops that can be accommodated at these 4 military bases is estimated to be around 115,000, which suggests that there is an intention to station a very large force there, according to Western intelligence agencies. In addition, Russia is also constructing new railway lines along the borders with Finland, Estonia, and Norway. European countries are viewing these actions by the Russian military as highly threatening. For one, Norway's Chief of Defense, Eirik Kristoffersen, stated that if Russia continues to increase its forces at this pace, as shown in satellite images, the military threat to Norway will inevitably rise. Norwegian intelligence agencies noted that while they once thought Russia couldn't easily deploy more troops to the border during the Ukraine war, they changed this view in 2026. Sweden's military intelligence chief, Thomas Nilsson, said these moves by Russia are real preparations for possible conflict with NATO, not just shows of force. Denmark's intelligence agency also warned that if Russia sees NATO as less unified, it might launch major military actions in Europe within 5 years. Germany assessed that Russia could have the capability to attack NATO by 2029 and emphasized the need to prepare and maintain readiness for this possibility. According to a Politico report, Chief of Staff Christian Freuding stated at the International Aerospace Exhibition in Berlin, Germany, that there is a broad consensus among NATO allies that Russia could attack a member country within 10 years. He especially emphasized the year 2029, saying that this is not just Germany's independent assessment, but the intelligence evaluation of all of NATO. He said that all 32 member countries agree that Russia could have the capability to invade around 2029. Judging from what European countries are saying now, it seems that they believe Russia's actions are not simply about gathering troops for defense within its own territory, but are preparations to attack Europe. Northern European countries say the risk of a Russian attack will be at its highest for the next 1 to 3 years. Europe is tense not due to Russia's current military state, but because of possible changes after the war. The main concern is when troops and equipment now in Ukraine could be redeployed elsewhere. Russia is reorganizing military districts during the war and constantly expanding troop recruitment and military production. Western intelligence agencies think these actions are part of a long-term plan to rebuild military power, not just temporary responses. What European countries are particularly paying attention to is Russia's defense industry production capacity. The production of tanks, armored vehicles, shells, and missiles is considered to have increased significantly compared to before the war. This means that they are establishing a system that can replenish losses even if they occur in battle. Russia is allocating a significant portion of its national budget to the defense sector, and munitions factories are essentially being operated at wartime production levels. The problem is the speed of Europe's preparations. After the end of the Cold War, many countries reduced the size of their militaries and also cut back on ammunition stockpiles. This was because they believed that peace would be maintained for a long time, so they diverted defense budgets to other areas. However, the situation has changed since the war in Ukraine. European countries are working to expand weapons production facilities, increase troop numbers, and strengthen reserve systems, but many of these projects are expected to take years to complete. Germany and Poland, several countries including the Baltic states, see this as possibly the last chance to close the security gap. NATO assessments suggest the next few years may be a key turning point for European security. European military officials stress rapidly increasing troop numbers, boosting weapons production, expanding air defense, and stockpiling ammunition. More people now believe preparations should consider Russia's future power, not just its current strength. European countries are uneasy for reasons beyond Russia's military buildup. Rapidly declining trust in the United States, NATO's core pillar, is becoming a key factor. According to recent survey results, the percentage of Europeans who see the United States as an ally has dropped to 11%. Just 2 years ago, it was 22%, then it fell to 16% in 2025, and now it's down to 11%. This is being interpreted as a change that has emerged due to the accumulation of political conflicts and diplomatic friction between the United States and Europe. More attention should be given to the perception of security. In most surveyed countries, over half of respondents lack confidence that the United States would intervene militarily if their country were attacked. NATO's collective defense relies on members trusting each other for protection, but this dynamic shifts if that trust weakens. Europe now worries more about alliance unity weakening than Russia itself. As a result, public support for higher defense spending has been steadily increasing. There is also growing support for the argument that Europe should reduce its dependence on the United States and strengthen its own defense capabilities. Major countries like Germany and France are pushing to expand the European defense industry and joint weapons projects, with growing calls to rely less on American weapons. Russia's main hope isn't NATO's military defeat, but political division within the alliance. That's why European intelligence agencies monitor both military actions and potential fractures in NATO. If Russia sees US-Europe relations worsening, it may adopt a more aggressive diplomatic and military approach. As a result, European countries react more sensitively to news of Russia increasing its troops. Previously, they believed the United States was the ultimate safety net. Now, that confidence has faded. As Russia expands its military and trust in the United States declines, Europe's security anxiety grows. Currently, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, the three Baltic states, are the most anxious countries in Europe. Although they are NATO members, they are very close to Russia. Their land area and population are much smaller than Western European countries like Germany or France, so they're even more sensitive about security issues. The reason the three Baltic states are concerned is because of their geographical characteristics. These countries have very limited corridors connecting them to the rest of NATO territory. In particular, the Suwałki Gap, located at the border area between Poland and Lithuania, has long been an area of interest for NATO strategists. The length of this area is only about 100 kilometers. To the west is Kaliningrad, Russia's military stronghold. To the east is Belarus, Russia's key ally. There are ongoing concerns that if Russia and Belarus act together in a crisis, the Baltic states' land supply route to other NATO countries could be threatened. This means that NATO could face significant challenges in quickly moving troops and equipment to defend the three Baltic states. That's why NATO has managed this area as a key strategic point for European security for years. The three Baltic states have greatly changed their defense policies since the war in Ukraine, Estonia and Latvia. Lithuania is rapidly increasing its defense spending, and they are also expanding reserve training and mobilization systems. They have informed us that they are either considering or pushing forward with the construction of border defense facilities, the creation of minefields, and the building of bunkers. In addition, they are actively demanding an increase in the permanent deployment of NATO forces. What's even more noteworthy is that the three Baltic states are not only concerned about the possibility of a full-scale Russian invasion, they also worry about cyber attacks, radio jamming, border provocations, and undersea cable damage. This region has long faced security crises because it is an area where Russia's hybrid attacks are ongoing. In the Baltic region, concerns about communication networks and energy infrastructure security have been raised repeatedly in recent years. As a result, the three Baltic states are highly sensitive to reports of Russian troop buildups near their borders. They believe the security environment has changed completely since the war in Ukraine. Analysts also note that if Russia tests NATO's resolve, the Baltic coast could be a primary area of rising tensions.